So in the spirit of originality, we now have folks out here talking about how they have quote unquote white fatigue. How convenient. Right at the time when we're finally having this conversation about the so-called black culture that is degenerated into essentially what we see as the mainstream culture, which is the ghetto mindset, the criminality, etc. Now we have stuff like this. Now, this young lady is about to go down a list of 50 things that give her quote unquote white fatigue. Now, again, I don't know exactly what the hell this means. I don't know what to expect. I've not watched this through, but I know personally that I indeed do have white fatigue. More specifically, liberal, white, feminist fatigue, full out exhaustion, damn near death. You understand me? I am at my end when it comes to white liberal women. So that I can relate to, but what she's about to get into, we shall see. Get yourself some water, H to the Izzo. I've been slowing down on the tea, to be honest with y'all, but it will be making its way back. Best believe that. Otherwise, let's get into it.
Here are 50 things that have given me white fatigue. Okay. And the list could go on, but here are just 50. Parents calling the police on black people for just existing, mass shooters being described as troubled young men, cultural appropriation without any appreciation, white people in locks talking about spirituality, all lives matter, I don't see color, white creators become...
Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. I was about to say I hate to be that guy. I don't hate to be that guy. I love being this guy because I have as much empathy and compassion as I do petty. And I got a lot of empathy to give, which means the petty is equally yoked. So let's go ahead and get into it. Cultural appropriation. White people with dreadlocks calling themselves spiritual. Okay. Here's the thing. That conversation is dead. It's dead. It's over. It's done. It's finished. The fact that you have a large majority of black women who have taken upon the characteristics and the attributes of quote unquote white women. I don't want to hear all this Melanesian crap. I don't want to hear it. It's disingenuous. And frankly, you don't even know who the hell the Melanesians were. You don't. You don't know any historic context. You don't know their lineage. You don't know nothing about them. You use it because you don't want to face the fact that you yourself are doing the very thing that you're telling other folks not to do, right? You see the white girl with the cornrows, she just got back from Cancun, whatever it may be, and it pisses you off. You've got a whole ass blonde wig on. You've got somebody else's hair in your head. You've lightened your skin. You've altered your features. I mean, when nobody talks about the makeup process, you thin your nose using makeup. You enhance certain features to essentially slim down the ones that you want to be refined, quote unquote. You call straight hair good hair. That's y'all who did that. White folks says, oh, this is the good hair. No, that's you. Now, you may have taken it as, some sort of defense mechanism when other people saw your hair and said, whoa, that's different. That's not like my hair. But the insecurities they're built in the community itself. So I just had to stop it right there. But she done said already 10 things that are complete nonsense. But let's let it continue.
Famous for watered down versions of black culture, profiting off of black trauma on social media, weaponizing white tears, white savior complexes in real life and movies. I have a black friend as a get out of racism free card. White teachers punishing black students for being disruptive. Gentrification marked as urban revitalization, being followed in grocery stores like you don't belong.
I genuinely want to go through every single one of these. She's going so damn fast, but I'm just going to hit some key markers here. So we had
weaponizing white tears, white savior.
I don't even know what the hell weaponizing white tears means.
Trauma on social media.
Okay, so she talked about profiting off of black trauma. Do you know who's the number one profiteer who makes more money than anybody else off of black trauma? Now, some folks out there are going to say, well, it's got to be the little hat people, right? It's the Jews. Hate to break it to you, but they pale in comparison to this one demographic who makes more money gains more influence and power over essentially profiting off of quote unquote black pain. And this group of people I would label as rappers. That's right. Rappers, hip hop artists. Nobody has profited, not even Hollywood has done the type of numbers that hip hop has done when it comes to profiting. And I don't want to hear about the secret meeting that was had and the infiltration. I don't give a damn about none of that. I happen to be one of these guys who sees individuals as making their own autonomous decisions. It's called personal responsibility. So when a Future, when a 21 Savage, when any of these, I don't know, Pooh Shiesties, the Gucci Manes, whoever the hell it is, when they are perpetuating these messages, they are continuing on the very same cycle. They're choosing to do that. And they choose to take a check from somebody who wants to be in business with them doing exactly that. So if we want to talk about who's profiting off of it, let's be real. Oh yeah, the white kids are going to show up to the concert. Oh, for sure, they're going to buy the albums. Well, I mean, when people are buying albums. But that's an exchange for something that was produced by an individual who is profiting off of it, who makes money off that at the end of the day. It's the rappers. And again, we can get into Hollywood, etc., but there's not enough Boys in the Hood. You know, there's not enough NWA movies or any of this sort of stuff to make up for the actual thing going on in the quote unquote hip hop rap community. That has been a perpetual stream of destruction. So, yeah, let's continue. And yes, I am the type of creator who stops whenever the hell I want to. That's just what we do over here. You know, somebody was talking about, oh, you talk too much. Stop stopping the video. I'm not giving you any minutes. And I said, I give a damn. Who are you? I got my people here. What are you talking about? This is what we do here. Who is you? Go watch somebody else who sits there and just nods along and says exactly what no, we're opinionated over here. Okay, boo-boo.
Weaponizing white tears, white savior complexes in real life and movies. I have a black friend as a get out of racism free card. White teachers punishing black students for being disruptive. And
teachers should begin on everybody's case because these kids are bad as hell nowadays. I gotta throw that in.
Gentrification marked as urban revitalization.
Gentrification, interesting concept. Gentrification, is it race-based or is it cultural-based? Is it status-based? There's nothing stopping black folk or quote unquote people of color from being included when these neighborhoods go up in price. Oh, it's a white thing. You know what? I saw white people getting gentrified out of a neighborhood that my folks used to live in the Bay Area by Asian folks, Indians and Chinese folks who were doing significantly better in those areas. Is that racism? No. It's status. It's class. These people were in fields that were making them significantly more money because of what they decided to major in, what they decided to give their time, energy, and attention to, the harder STEM fields, etc. That's just the reality. So when there is gentrification, and I want to do an entire video. I will likely do it. Let me know in the comment if you want that. I will likely do a video speaking on this idea and debunking what gentrification is actually about. But she has like 50 more things or 40 more things to get into.
And being followed in grocery stores like you don't belong. Police called.
Some knickknacks be stealing, let's be honest. But
because someone looks suspicious. White-led DEI training with no actual change. White people going viral for dances black people made. Why is it always about race with you? The obsession with...
Okay, one more time with this damn cultural appropriation. If you are so offended by the mixing of cultures, people adopting certain cultures that they believe to be, you know, in vogue, to be trendy, etc., then I would suggest you get rid of every single article of clothing that you have and replace it with dashikis or whatever cloths or whatever it is that your ancestry created. Because we have to go back to who created it, right? So take off the, you know, on some Kendrick, take off the Louis, take off the Gucci, take off the Hermes, take all of that off. Those are white-owned brands. That's white people stuff, right? If that's how we want to look at it, I don't look at it that way. I believe we share cultures. People create businesses. We opt into those businesses, trade value for value. I don't give a damn who made this shirt, but the likelihood is not somebody who looked like me. And I frankly, I don't care. I really don't care. I don't care who made this little Aquarius wave necklace. Look at that. I don't care. I don't care. It means something to me, valuable to me. I don't care. White man made this. If you have such a problem with the appropriation of a culture, then I would suggest getting rid of most technology that you own, because that was the white man. That was him. He did that.
Controlling black hair, the criminalization of AAVE in schools and work, centering whiteness in conversations that aren't about them, singing the N-word because it's just a lyric, the legacy of colonization and pretending it's ancient history, slavery being taught as a necessary evil.
Why does nobody ever talk about the Arabs' colonization? Is it because it doesn't fit the narrative? Because those are quote unquote brown people? Look at how much of the world speaks Arabic, dresses in Muslim attire, practices the Muslim faith. There's roughly 2 billion Muslims on a planet of 8 billion people. The biggest religion on the planet. How did it get that way? Did it just magically sprout? Or may it be, I don't know, colonial powers?
Internment camps being brushed over in history class, the Trail of Tears being summarized in a paragraph, mass incarceration of black and brown people, Confederate flags being called heritage. Get over it. It was a long time ago. White people crying in HR and getting people fired. White tears when equity feels like a loss of power, denying white privilege when benefiting from it. Whitewash media stories. White-run nonprofits helping black communities while not listening, demanding emotional labor while doing none.
I'm curious as to why people like this, who hold such bitterness and resentment towards white folk or anybody, why do you stay around those people? Like, I genuinely don't understand that. That's one part. As much content as I may create, as many subjects I may get into or nuances of this conversation I get into, I still can't for the life of me understand why they stay in this racist society. Because the reality is it's a society that has afforded them every opportunity they currently have. That's the reality. How do I know? Because people stay where they believe there is value. They leave when they believe this types of things that she's espousing. That's why people, I'm talking about hundreds of millions of people every year across the planet look to leave their country of origin to go somewhere where they can be afforded greater opportunities. That's what that's about. And the reality is most people are looking to get into the Western way of living, not because of whiteness, but because it's a system that works. It's a system that works for the majority of people. It allows for you to create, for you to build, for you to do something and not have it stripped from you, like, you know, communist regimes or socialist environment, genuinely socialist environments, totalitarian dictatorships like what I came out of. I don't understand it. I really don't. I think it's all just yappery. I do. I think they're just saying it.
Themselves, wearing blackface as a joke, screaming reverse racism like it's real, appropriating AAVE, using it wrong, watching black playing like it's a Netflix genre, MLK quotes.
I don't know if y'all heard about AAVE. It's like African American Vernacular English or something like that. Somebody can let me know. I'll probably butcher that. But it is basically Ebonics, but it's now being taught as a language. As opposed to accepting that it is, you know, essentially quote unquote broken English, like pidgin English or something like that. It's just been like now it's just accepted as a language. It's not improper grammar. It's not slang. It's a language. You is now acceptable. Acts, things of that nature, right? Maybe ambulams might be thrown into there. It's wild. Again, and I'm somebody who I'm still weaning myself because for a long time, a vast majority of my young life, I was speaking in AAVE because I was trying to fit in. I wanted to be, you know, culturally relevant. I wanted to be a part of the hip hop culture. And so that's what I did. And, you know, I grew up in the Bay Area. And so there's these two worlds. There's a tech world, but then there's also the world of the ism, the world of the schism and the prisms and, you know, the world of E40. Where language is bent and you know, the gift of gab and things of that nature. So, yeah, Interesting.
To shame black protests, demanding calm from oppressed people while being violent, policing tone instead of hearing truth, stolen land turned into suburbs and golf courses, white men running diversity campaigns, asking, can I touch your hair like it's normal?
So it's not even enough for you, white man. All the DEI, like something that I think people don't recognize is a majority of the DEI initiatives have actually been run by your quote unquote white patriarchs. Those are the guys who created this thing, because many of them, obviously, white guilt, are afraid to be called racist, etc. I was around in the Bay Area. A lot of these companies who adopted this way of moving, of thinking, it's because, well, frankly, they didn't want to be highlighted as, unwoke, as many would now call it. But I remember it happening. My dad's, been in the advertising space for most of his life. I was in marketing for, part of my adulthood, I guess I would say, before I finally threw myself into my purpose on this earth. But we were basically planning around how to get more, advertising dollars, because they were giving them out. If you were a black advertiser, they were flooding money into the market based off of that white guilt and the fear of being called racist. So, if you don't want white people doing the DEI thing, I don't know how it's going to work, because they're the ones in quote unquote power, right?
White people calling things ghetto while profiting from the aesthetic, voting for oppression and acting shocked by the results when everyone fucking told you so, posting black squares thinking that that's actually...
She's really talking to white liberals. That's actually hella funny. She's really talking... She's actually talking to the people who are like trying so hard not to be racist to her and want to pander to her. That's hilarious. Listen to this.
Voting for oppression, acting shocked by the results when everyone fucking told you so, posting black squares thinking that that's...
Yeah, the only people who posted black squares were woke white people. They were white liberals. They're sick of y'all white liberals. I'm telling you, y'all better wait. Everybody better wake up. I woke up. I know these people are full of it. I know they're dangerous. I know that they are out of their right minds. They are propagandized, but y'all think that y'all gonna get comfy with these folks. They want nothing to do with you. They're bitter and resentful. They're envious.
Activism, not all white people when no one gaffs, and thinking black fatigue is about you.
Okay, yeah. So, there's a conversation going on about, well, black fatigue. Whoa, look at that face. My goodness. There's a conversation going on about how black fatigue is actually the title of some book that was talking about how black people are tired. Lord knows we're tired of white supremacy, right? That's the entire idea. Then they're saying white people hijack that. And I don't know if it was a white person who first talked about black fatigue or not, because I hear a lot of black folks talking about it, but I don't know who first started, bringing it into cultural relevance. But what I do know is the concept is what matters most. Because yes, it is partially inaccurate to just say black fatigue, just like white fatigue. It's like, who are you tired of? I'm tired of the ghetto folk, ghetto exhaustion, ghetto fatigue. That's who I'm tired of. Criminal fatigue, non-accountability taking fatigue, feminist fatigue, liberal fatigue. That's, if you want me to specify, those are the characteristics that define where the actual exhaustion is coming from. Lord knows, if you've been watching my content for a while, Lord knows I've been tired way before black fatigue came into the mainstream consciousness, but I'm glad we're talking about it. So yeah, there's her list of 50 ridiculous things. I couldn't even catch more than maybe 5 that seemed reasonable. Everything else was just kind of duplicates of the other, or, the major points are these talking points that the liberals oftentimes use without actually going into specifics. Because if you go into specifics, now you have an argument that's easy to debunk, and they don't want to have a debate. They don't want to have an actual conversation. They just want to be right. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Now, if you'd like to stay around, make sure to click that little subscribe button down there, or you can show some love by going to the description below and clicking on the button titled Buy Me a Coffee. Leave a little something there, or click on the Cash App. Leave a little something here. Till the next time, peace.
I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. But I can see the light again. I can see the light. You can see the life in him illuminate the night. time is taking. A 3-6-5, that's a full rotation. I see you looking up, you know them constellations. Constantly gazing like house of praises, you get to praising.